and we'll get underway. Well, first of all, thank you for taking the time to join us. We're really excited about what we're doing here in development, and we just want to share it with everybody within the company, as well as we'll share this with our partners as well. We did one a couple months ago. We decided wait a month, and we'll do another one here in June, and that's what we're going to be doing. So what I thought we would do is just first of all talk about our agenda. We've coming kind of towards the end of our Q2 quarter in our planning, and then I just kind of want to share what we're thinking about doing in Q3. I'll then go into talking about DevOps, how we're transitioning to a DevOps organization, give you a little bit of update on what the hosting group has been doing, and then really talk about the exciting stuff that we're doing with the next release of IMS. And you'll hear it referred to as IMS Cloud in 20.4, and I'll explain what the differences are there, and of course we'll open it up for questions afterwards. So talk about our progress, moving the desktop to the web. We've been working on this for, pretty well over a year and a half now. And it takes a lot of work to, move an application that's been around for 20 years and get it all into the staff website in a little over a year and a half. But for Q2, we continued on that track. We've made great progress. The other thing we've been doing is working on our infrastructure to support a pure cloud application. And so our clouding team has been working on a console, if you will, that'll allow the hosting folks to easily manage multiple clients in our cloud. One thing we are doing is we did have to take a little break and work on GDPR and some other things. So we've decided to go ahead and extend the Q2 just another sprint, which is 2 weeks. We work in 2-week sprints. And then the other thing we decided to do once we're done with that, and what this has allowed us to do is finish a lot of the stories we have in progress. We're going to take a little time out and work on our technical debt. And technical debt to us is some infrastructure stuff, as well as address several of the bugs that have been submitted, things that our developers find, as well as the SMRs that are submitted as well. So we really want to get that down to almost nothing with this technical debt sprint. So to kind of go over what we did for Q2, we have done a lot of work. And like I kind of stated before, you don't realize how deep a product IMS 2300 is until you start getting into the details. And so we've done things such as, adding groups and statuses to committee lists. A lot of the feedback, you've sent us, updating our address verification, doing things such as working on our orders, improving that, as well as just doing some fun stuff as well. We always have a hack day, and I talked about this last time. But this is really where you get to see kind of the neat stuff that our developers do. And what this does is really help the UI aspect of the product. So for just example, and you've seen this in the sprint reviews that we have, the ability to play a video in the background with the text over it. That's pretty cool. This was also shown at Innovations. We've adjusted the pictures so they show up better in the picture profile. The other thing we did, apparently, is circles are a thing now. So you could either have square pictures or round circles for profile pictures, as well as add pictures to search results, which is going to be a pretty cool feature as well. So a lot of this comes out of our hack day, and then we incorporate that into the product because it's pretty easy for us to do, but it also gives us that bells and whistles that show up very well in demos. To kind of talk about Q3 and what our goals is, I kind of like this picture of the horses coming to the finish. We're in the home stretch, if you will, and of course our goal is to finish out moving the desktop to the web. The other thing we're doing is we're continuing our transition to a DevOps organization, and we're going to see all sorts of benefits from that as we go throughout the year. The other thing we did is we've been upgrading our clients to the latest release of IMS, and so our ASI hosting customers have been moving from one of our goals, I should say, is moving one of our cloud-based IMS 2300 customers to the IMS Cloud. So that's a pretty audacious goal right there, but I know it's something that will be easily achievable. And in fact, we've got several customers right now being implemented on the new version of IMS, which I'll explain here shortly. I just want to touch base on our DevOps and hosting and where they're at. As I've been saying, we've been transitioning to a DevOps organization, and just all sorts of advantages to that. And I found this graphic, Google's a great place to go find things, but it really is true in that it really increases our ability to be agile. We've been practicing agile development for some time now. Now we're taking it to the next level, implementing DevOps. And for what folks don't know, DevOps is really kind of marrying the development aspect with the hosting aspect and the operations aspect and making it all one fluid organization. But by moving to this DevOps organization, it really increases our ability to respond quickly to the market, as well as respond quickly to issues that might arise. It also allows us to increase the quality of our software because we're always writing tests. Every new thing we do, if it's maybe just small, we're writing a little test, and that test gets run every time we do a build. It also allows us to start improving the innovation of our products. If we're not spending time on the quality things, it gives us time to do things we want to do and add new features and that type of thing to the product, as well as just make it better. And of course, it also helps us reduce any problems we might have. We're working in small increments, and then when we find those problems, we can then address them very quickly. So what the group has been doing is we've updated all our 100, 200 customers to 100.3. And a lot of that was driven, of course, by the GDPR requirements, General Data Protection Regulation, primarily in the EU. So we have those customers all upgraded to the latest version of IMS. We've also updated our IMS 2300 customers that are in our cloud. And one thing I didn't really know or realize is every time we put out a new service pack, those customers are taking advantage of our cloud by having those service packs automatically applied to their application. So that's one nice thing about that. We're also finishing up our console. This is what I was talking about earlier to make it easier for our hosting group to manage large amounts of machines, servers, clients, that type of thing. Easy to do upgrades. I can just upgrade a whole set of clients at once. And then the other thing we're really working on, of course, is we're going to be updating our clients on a regular monthly basis, if not more. The goal is more, of course, but we really want to shoot for doing it on a monthly basis, just so everybody's receiving the latest and greatest code, features, and that type of thing that the teams have been working on. I pulled this slide out. This is on the ASI staff site. And a lot of people don't realize what a hosting operation we have. It's quite large, and this is just breaking it down by the types of customers and by the country as well. So our traditional are the ones where the client pretty much has the server. We maintain the Windows aspect of it, but it's completely up to the customer to do their code updates, apply their upgrades, that type of thing. A lot of them have customizations that they have to deal with. These are the type of ones that we really want to start moving away from and get them into our cloud so they can take advantage of all the cloud has to offer for our customers, which I'll talk about more in a minute. Then you see our 100, 200, we have about 140 customers broken out by country. And then we have 127 customers in our cloud as well, IMS 300 customers in our cloud as well. So overall, it's almost 500 customers we have currently running, and of course we want to keep growing that as we go. So just a little talk about the next versions of IMS. Some of this is still being worked out, but internally you've probably heard us talk about IMS 20.3. That just seemed to be more of a name, came after 20.2, that type of thing. And really we want to start referring to the next release as IMS 20.3. We either want to refer to it as IMS Cloud, which is the application that our customers in our cloud are going to upgrade to if they're 300 customers. And then we're also going to talk about something called IMS 20.4. And that's primarily going to be the same code, but it's going to be for our self-hosted customers. The majority of our customers are self-hosted, so we need to be able to give them an upgrade. But this is a good way to distinguish it. IMS Cloud is the premium offering, and then IMS 20.4 would be for those who are self-hosted, and eventually we want to try to start encourage those to get to our cloud. So we really need to think about IMS differently now. With IMS Cloud, it's designed to really minimize the upgrade disruptions. So we can apply updates very easily, hopefully without the customer even knowing it. One thing that you're going to start hearing is fewer major release numbers. So you think about Facebook, you think about Netflix, you think about other things like that, you have no idea what version they're on. And IMS Cloud is going to be the same way. Office 365 is a good example as well. We'll be rolling out with our continuous deployment new features into the product, and it will just appear. Any kind of issues that arise, we can quickly address, and they'll just come out to the customer and appear, hopefully without them even knowing. The IMS Cloud that we're going to be offering is, of course, a pure cloud offering, which means no virtual dedicated servers. We are really working towards eliminating those. Those were a transition device to get people into the cloud, and I had some third-party applications that had not been converted over to REST yet. And we're really going to put the hammer down and not include those VDSs anymore. And the one thing I would say is I know a lot of people get nervous when we say that. So if you know of a reason or you think you have a good reason why you think we still need to offer VDSs, let us know so we can really evaluate that. We've done studies and we know some of the issues and we're addressing those, but we always want to hear if there's an issue that you think we can't. Chances are we can probably solve it. The other thing is we keep talking about our REST API, and really this is a better way for third-party integrations, primarily because it's going to be version agnostic. Right now, when a third party develops an application, they have to be wary of the version they're on because the DLLs all have to match and that type of thing. With the REST API, you don't have to do that. So the third party can just build that application, and if we upgrade, their application is going to be fine. It just kind of give you the elevator pitch real quick on the REST API. It's really about supporting cloud applications. We've got a great SDK site out there. We're adding to it all the time. In fact, it's had a lot of traffic lately as far as third parties asking questions. And this is something that our developers are always monitoring, or I'm always bugging them to monitor it. But they supply answers to it as well. So this is a great opportunity for our third parties as well as us. This is what IMS is written in. This is what our developers use, and this is what our third parties should be using as well. One thing that I just want to point out real quick is we do have product partners, and these product partners are using our REST API to integrate with IMS. And some of these were to address the things we did not move over from the desktop to the staff side, such as Cadmium for expo and speaker management. That's just a good example of that. But these are all using the REST API. So IMS Cloud, obviously it's 100% web-based. It has all the features that IMS 300 has, the desktop has. It's all there. In fact, new clients are being implemented on it right now. We have 2 implementations currently underway, and all new sales will be implemented on our IMS Cloud. That's going to be the first option, and if they're not, there's going to have to be an exception that'll have to get approval to have them implemented on something other than our IMS Cloud. The big thing that I show this slide every time we do this, but the bottom bullet there, potential savings for a pure cloud client could be as much as 70%. I mean, I came from an association, and that speaks to me, especially when you're working with membership dollars. But if you take into account all the things that are required to self-host, such as staff time, machinery, upgrade costs, that type of thing, it does lead up to about a 70% savings for customers. And of course, being in the cloud, it just kind of takes the fear out of it. It's somebody else's problem. The application is going to work, kind of like what our Office 365 does, and we don't have to worry about the support that goes with it. It is a platform that is specific to membership. Salesforce is great as a CRM, and they got all the money in the world. But we hear from customers all the time, yeah, they're good, but they don't do the membership side of it. And that's what our IMS Cloud can really take advantage of it. Of course, our IMS Cloud also goes through the PCI compliance as far as not only the application, but as well as our hosting facilities. The other thing is our staff is trained on IMS. They are IMS people, so they can offer world-class support. And of course, all this brings it in. You can do everything in our IMS Cloud that an organization would need to do. The one thing I really like is having a training background is it's just much easier to use than the desktop. In the old days, you would have to go to a class to learn how the desktop, and maybe 2 or 3 days. Even our old web applications, you had to go to a class to learn how to use. And now we're finding that people can pretty much do what they need to do with perhaps just a little bit of training. And we're going to be working with client success to make sure that people who are transitioning from the desktop to the cloud will be able to do that very easily. We have a lot of great documentation out there. I know a lot of you are aware of our sprint reviews we do every 2 weeks. But our IMS Cloud documentation is out there right now. If you want to go through and look at it, it's very similar to the desktop. It's all based on the cloud interface. So the big question we always get is, well, what about existing clients? And like I said when we started, existing clients are a huge part of our business, and so we have to take care of them, obviously. So what our plan is right now is we'll be upgrading the 2017 GA clients in our ASI hosting facility first to IMS Cloud, so they could take advantage of all the updates, savings, and new features. And it's also kind of a carrot to get some self-hosted ones up to our cloud as well. But we know there's going to be a lot of reasons why people will want to stay self-hosted, and the difference is going to be, we're going to call that version IMS 20.4. So IMS Cloud is the version that we're hosting here at ASI, It's the latest version of IMS 300, 2300. But if you're self-hosted, that version is going to be IMS 20.4. So that'll be rolling out probably towards the end of the year. But we needed to give it a different naming convention because it's not taking advantage of all the cloud benefits. And so we are going to be working on there is an upgrade already in place, obviously, and we'll be, as we build out the rest of this desktop to staff website, we'll be rolling this out, probably towards the end of the year, if not into the next year. So it's kind of what I got right now. We just have a lot of stuff going on. Next quarter, we're working, continuing to work down our list of the inventory type things that we still need to add, but we're also working on our DevOps. So at this point, I'll go ahead and just open it up for questions. Might have to unmute to ask questions. Nothing?
Brian?
Yeah.
This is Kathy.
Hey, Kathy.
Hi. So how much notice are we going to give clients that are currently hosted by ASI but not in the cloud? And what are we basically saying you have to do, X, 1, 2, and 3 in order to be in the cloud, and you'll have this much time to do it?
Yeah. I don't know the particular details of that. I believe Ed and others are working on a program to move them. So I don't have the exact answer for that, but we can find that out.
Yeah, they're working on the program now. Hopefully we'll have it available for discussion within the next week or so.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? So you can always send questions to productowners@avasol.com, and I'll post this recording out shortly. I'm sorry, did I hear a question?
Brian, it's Colin. So is there going to be any difference between 20.4 and IMS Cloud except for the multi-tenanting, or?
Well, for the most part, they will be the same. The multi-tenant will have to address, because we don't want people hosting their own multiple installs. And there may be a few more additions as far as advantages of having IMS Cloud. We've been looking at things such as a report writer and whatnot, but that's still being discussed, and we'd have to do some development work as well. So we are looking at additional benefits that maybe we could offer to put that carrot out there to get people to move to the cloud.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like the 300 user client who just doesn't foresee ever being an ASI cloud. And I know that's a longer conversation, but certainly, do they miss out on anything?
Yeah, well, I mean, we still have, we've never kicked anybody out that I know of. We still have land customers, believe it or not. So, we do have a solution for them, and it'll be 20.4. And it's, primarily the same thing they have now in the 2017 release with some improvements.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right. Well, I appreciate it. And again, you can send us questions at productowners@avasol.com. Thank you.